Chapter 17, The Final Assault Begins. The atmosphere in the refuge was electric with tension. Every corner of the underground complex buzzed with activity, a symphony of machinery, hushed conversations, and hurried footsteps as preparations for the final assault were underway. The walls, once cold and silent, now seemed to pulse with the energy of those within, a living entity fueled by the desperate hope of humanity's last stand. Lyra stood in the command room, her gaze fixed on the holographic display that hovered above the central table. The map of the alien stronghold glowed with a soft, eerie light, the key points of interest marked with red and blue indicators. This was the culmination of everything they had fought for, the final push to reclaim their planet. "Are we ready?" Maddox's voice broke through the tense silence, his tone carrying the weight of the moment. Dr. Thorne, who had been double-checking the connections on the resonance disruptor's remote control, nodded. "Everything is set. The disruptor is primed and ready. Once it's activated, we'll have a small window to hit them where it hurts." Zara, standing beside Lyra, clenched his fists. "And the traitor? Are we sure he's feeding them the false intel?" Maddox's expression hardened. "He knows what's at stake. His family's lives hang in the balance, and so does his own. He'll do what he's told, or he'll pay the price." Lyra's mind drifted to the events of the previous hours, the tense confrontation with the traitor, the admission of his betrayal, and the decision to use him against the very beings he had once conspired with. Trust was a fragile thing, and in the crucible of war, it was often shattered beyond repair. But there was no room for doubt now. They were out of time. "I still don't trust him," Lyra murmured, her voice barely audible over the hum of the equipment. "He's too unpredictable." Zara placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "None of us trust him. But right now, we need every advantage we can get. We've come too far to let this slip through our fingers." Lyra nodded, though her heart remained heavy with unease. She knew Zara was right. They had sacrificed too much, lost too many, to falter now. The image of Shadow, still in the clutches of those mysterious creatures, flickered through her mind, a constant reminder of what was at stake. The war was no longer just about survival, it was about reclaiming what had been stolen from them. Maddox's voice cut through her thoughts. "All units are in position. Once we breach the stronghold, there's no turning back. Our objective is to take out the command center and neutralize their leaders. If we succeed, we break their hold on this world." The soldiers in the room nodded, their faces set with determination. There was no need for further words. Each of them knew the gravity of the mission, the cost of failure. They had all lost friends, comrades, and loved ones in this war. Now, it was time to end it. Lyra, Zara, and Thorne joined Maddox as they made their way to the staging area. The air was thick with anticipation, the kind that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. The soldiers, fully armored and armed, stood at attention, their expressions grim yet resolute. They were ready to face whatever awaited them in the alien stronghold. Thorne handed Lyra the remote control for the resonance disruptor. "You're the one who will activate it when the time comes. It's only fitting, given everything you've been through." Lyra accepted the device, the weight of it surprisingly heavy in her hand. This small piece of technology held the key to their victory, the culmination of years of blood, sweat, and tears. She looked up at Thorne, his face etched with exhaustion but also a fierce determination that mirrored her own. "I won't let us down," she said firmly. Thorne gave her a small, approving nod. "I know you won't." As they approached the massive steel doors that separated them from the surface, Lyra's pulse quickened. Beyond those doors lay the battlefield, the ruins of a once great city now twisted and broken under the aliens' reign. The final assault was about to begin, and with it, the fate of humanity would be decided. Maddox turned to face his soldiers one last time. "We fight for our fallen, for those who can no longer stand beside us. We fight for our future, for the hope that one day, our children will walk free under the sun of a liberated earth. Today, we take back our world." The soldiers raised their weapons in silent acknowledgement, their faces hardening with resolve. The steel doors creaked open, revealing the bleak, war-torn landscape beyond. The first rays of dawn cast long shadows over the cracked earth, the distant alien stronghold looming like a dark sentinel against the horizon. The air was still, pregnant with the anticipation of the battle to come. Lyra gripped the remote control tightly, her knuckles white. She took a deep breath, steadying herself for the fight ahead. The time for hesitation was over. It was now or never. As the first soldiers stepped onto the battlefield, a strange silence settled over them, the calm before the storm. Then, as if on cue, the ground beneath their feet rumbled, and the alien forces began to emerge from the shadows, their machines whirring to life in a chorus of mechanical menace. Maddox's voice rang out over the comms. Go, go, go. The final assault had begun. Lyra, Zara, and Thorn surged forward with the first wave, the roar of battle erupting around them. The air was thick with smoke and the acrid scent of burning metal. Explosions tore through the ground as human and alien forces clashed, the sounds of gunfire and screams filling the air. As they fought their way towards the alien stronghold, Lyra's heart pounded in her chest. Every step brought them closer to their goal, but also deeper into the heart of enemy territory. The aliens fought with a ferocity born of desperation, their machines relentless in their assault. But the humans were driven by something stronger, hope. A hope that had been kindled in the darkest of times, a hope that refused to be extinguished. They reached the entrance to the stronghold, a massive, ominous gate that loomed before them like the maw of a great beast. Lyra glanced at Zara, who nodded grimly. It was time. She activated the resonance disruptor. The air around them vibrated with a low, powerful hum as the disruptor's pulse spread outwards, sending ripples of energy through the alien machinery. Lights flickered, and the alien machines stuttered, their movements becoming sluggish and erratic. Now! Maddox shouted. The human forces surged forward, breaking through the alien defenses and pouring into the stronghold. The battle raged with renewed intensity as they pushed deeper into the heart of the enemy's domain. Lyra, Zara, and Thorn fought their way through the chaos, the sounds of battle ringing in their ears. The corridors of the stronghold were a labyrinth of twisting passages and ominous shadows, but they pressed on, driven by the knowledge that the end was in sight. Finally, they reached the central chamber, the heart of the alien command center. The room was vast and filled with alien technology, the walls lined with screens displaying strange, otherworldly symbols. At the center of the room stood the alien leader, a towering figure cloaked in darkness, its eyes glowing with an unnatural light. Lyra's breath caught in her throat as she locked eyes with the creature. This was the being that had orchestrated the invasion, the one responsible for the countless deaths and suffering. This was their true enemy. Without hesitation, Lyra raised her weapon and fired. The alien leader roared in fury as the bullets tore through its flesh, but it remained standing, its gaze fixed on Lyra with a malevolent intensity. Zara and Thorn joined the attack, their weapons blazing. The alien leader retaliated with a wave of energy that sent them sprawling, but they quickly regained their footing, their resolve unshaken. This was it, the final battle. They fought with everything they had, their movements a blur of speed and precision. The alien leader was powerful, but it was also outnumbered. And as the battle raged on, it became clear that the tide was turning in humanity's favor. With a final, desperate roar, the alien leader lunged at Lyra, its claws outstretched. But Lyra was ready. She dodged the attack and delivered a devastating blow to the creature's head, sending it crashing to the ground. For a moment, the room was silent, the only sound the heavy breathing of the three humans standing victorious over their fallen foe. Then, as if on cue, the alien machinery began to shut down, the screens flickering and going dark. The stronghold was silent, the last vestiges of the alien invasion crumbling around them. Lyra lowered her weapon, her heart pounding with a mixture of exhaustion and triumph. They had done it. The alien leader was dead, and with it, the last hope of the invaders. Humanity had won. As they stood in the ruins of the alien stronghold, the first rays of dawn broke through the clouds, bathing the world in a soft, golden light. Maddox's voice crackled over the comms, filled with emotion. The stronghold is ours. The aliens are retreating. We did it, we actually did it. The sound of cheers erupted through the comms as the news spread among the surviving soldiers. The victory they had longed for, the one they had fought so fiercely to achieve, was finally theirs. The alien forces, once thought to be invincible, were now fleeing, their grasp on Earth broken. Lyra took a deep breath, trying to steady herself as the reality of what they had accomplished began to sink in. The war was not over yet, there were still remnants of the alien forces scattered across the planet, and the damage they had done would take years to repair. But this was a turning point. As the last echoes of battle faded into the distance, Lyra turned to Zara and Thorn. We need to secure this place, make sure there are no more surprises. Zara nodded, already moving towards the alien consoles, scanning them for any signs of remaining threats. Thorn followed, his mind already working on how to reverse engineer the alien technology to use it for humanity's benefit. Lyra took a moment to let her gaze sweep over the chamber, over the wreckage of the alien leader, and the darkened screens. She had spent so long fighting, surviving, that the thought of peace, of a world no longer under the shadow of annihilation, was almost too foreign to grasp. But as the dawn continued to break over the horizon, Lyra allowed herself a small, tentative smile. They had won a great victory today, and though the road ahead would be long and fraught with challenges, for the first time in years, the future didn't seem quite so bleak. Humanity had a chance to rebuild, to rise from the ashes of war and reclaim what was theirs. And for Lyra, for the resistance, and for all those who had sacrificed so much, that was a future worth fighting for. She turned back to her comrades, her voice strong and steady. Let's finish this. As they began the task of securing the stronghold, Lyra felt a renewed sense of purpose. The war had shaped them, scarred them, but it had also forged them into something stronger. They were the survivors, the ones who had refused to give in, and they would see this through to the end. The battle for Earth was far from over, but with the alien leader defeated and their stronghold in human hands, the tide had finally turned. And as the sun rose higher in the sky, bathing the world in light, Lyra knew that, whatever came next, they would face it together, stronger and more united than ever before.